Howdy folks, this is Rowan. I'm here talking about my third sweater that I've made. That I'm going to make. I'm going to be using some of this. It's pretty soft, as far as I can tell. 4-ply acrylic yarn. What's it say? Yeah, 4-ply acrylic yarn. I'm gonna do this sweater's gonna have a couple things going for it. First off, I've fixed all the issues that I think I can find in the Excel file. So it should be a little more on the spot. Then the second sweater, I've looked at how the second sweater like fits my body and stuff, and made some adjustments to like the add vector, which is what I'm calling it. And I've built into the tool a way for me to be kind of guessing how much I've built a way for me to estimate what weight of yarn I need to use to make the sweater, which is good because that's how they sell yarn, is by weight usually, at least in the way that I get them. I'd also like to do a time study, which I'm not sure is going to work out as well if I'm taking video. We'll see. That's gonna be something else. I've also never, filmed things like this before, so I need to start writing out an outline before I turn on the camera. Let's see. So I've picked this yarn color, obviously. So the next step is going to be weigh some yarn. I'm going to make a gauge swatch and do some general accounting for what this looks like. This light is really good, but I need to work fast if I'm going to take advantage of it, because this is all natural. And this is Michigan, so that shit does not last for very long at all. Okay, so that's going to be the first step. I'll see you guys when I'm done. So I've measured it. They're all roughly 500 grams. I've got it down to the gram on a sticky note in here with the date. And they average out to being about 500 grams. And I've also measured these 4 cones as they are, and they're about 27 a pop, 27 grams a piece. So that's good. Now I know about how much to discount the yarn that I am estimating with. So there's that. Next stop is I'm going to put these 2 back in their bags, and then the first one is going to get turned into a gauge swatch, and we're gonna measure the delta there. So that's neat. All right, so we've got this. This is the gauge swatch. It's 40 stitches by 50 rows, so stitches and rows. And I haven't measured it yet because I wanted to show you before I pin it up, but it weighs 20 grams, which is horribly convenient because it's 2,000 stitches. And so we can say this has 100 stitches per gram, or 1/100 of a gram per stitch, which I think is useful. It makes it a little easier to do calculations in my head, right? So that's nice. It feels nice. I like it a little better than the yellow, which was what my first sweater was made out of. It's quite smooth on the front, on the right side. And I like that a lot. It's still pretty stiff. I'm knitting this on the loosest tension my machine has, because this is about the thickest yarn still that it can really work with. And I'm a little worried about how good of, like, how accurate of a gauge I'm going to get out of this, because I did have a couple of like crashes where the yarn would catch on something and it would create like a tighter area, which you can probably tell. There's like, the topography of this is kind of messy, right? So and that won't happen in the real sweater, because I'm gonna clear some stuff off my desk, so that hopefully that doesn't happen, or at least as much, because I don't like a bumpy sweater. That sucks. As for time, I don't think this took very long. It was only a couple of John Mayer songs, and I only have to do this once for every type of yarn that I have. Maybe a couple times if I want to use different tensions down the line, but this didn't take very long at all. It took me longer to do this cast off than to do pretty much anything else. So I don't think this is a big deal from a time study perspective, but we'll see. We'll see down the line how long everything else takes. All right, now I've done that. Or not the whole thing. This is the back of the sweater. It's not going to fit in the frame, but maybe if I scooch back, I think it looks pretty nice. I'm pretty excited to see what this looks like in the context of like an entire sweater. I think it's a nice color, although maybe that doesn't come across great on the video. It's pretty wrinkly, but maybe you can't hear me. It's gonna just be pretty wrinkly, because that's the nature of the acrylic yarn. It's kind of stubborn like that. And since it's so bulky and it's also acrylic, it doesn't really iron that well, in my experience. Which this isn't the final like fiber I'm going to use. I want to transition to some other things that are more environmentally friendly. Like it's just plastic. Also, this is what it looks like now. This cone. I think you saw them earlier. It's quite a bit less. The back used 211 grams of this yarn, which is a lot. And my program tells me I have like a 42% surplus, which is neat, but I didn't discount it by the amount of by the weight of the cardboard here. Not that I think that'll do anything really big. What else? So I've done the back. I did the time analysis. All right, I took the measurements for the time analysis. I just used the stopwatch app on my phone and hit lap every time I did one of the line items on the Excel spreadsheet. So number 8. Ooh, I didn't mark off the inside shoulder stitches, but I don't think that matters. Task number 8 took me about 8 minutes, and the reason I think it took me that long is because I had to repair a couple of crashes, which is always a little upsetting, and usually pretty time consuming, but I guess I'm okay implementing that into my time analysis because that is something that happens. Where are we? So I don't think I'm gonna do the front today. It took me like 40 minutes. It took me just under an hour to do this back. Hey folks, it's been today's Friday the 5th of February. It's been a hot minute. I'm gonna do the front side of the sweater now. The back side took about, I think, 38 minutes. The front side should take a bit longer. There's a little more manipulation involved. I think I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna try to do a time lapse. So we'll see of the front side of the sweater. So I'm interested to see if that's something that I can pull off. I'm not sure. We'll find out. So I took the time lapse. But the settings that my camera comes with are really limited for time lapses. And so I used the one that I thought was going to be like cover the longest period of time. And that was for like the night sky. So everything's super overexposed. Like it's mostly like a white screen. So in post, I'm going to try and see what I can do. But I'm not expecting much. As for the front of the sweater goes, a couple of things happened that I'm gonna keep in the, well, I kept them in the time lapse, but in the time study, I'm keeping them. I, even when I was like doing the hem at the very beginning, I dropped some stitches and I had to go back and fix them and stuff, and that happened later too, which was pretty frustrating and took a lot of time. But that's kind of how the whole thing goes. So I thought I should be including that, if this is going to be an honest timeline, right? Time study. So there's that. I forgot what my process was for doing the insides of these sleeves. I previously had it so that I was decreasing on the outside first and then on the inside, which I thought was foolish. I still believe that. I don't know why that was something that I was doing. But this seems like a really gradual cut, right? Like, it's not very steep. I remember them being closer to like this, but it's quite wide. And I also decreased them in such a way that I ended up with no stitches left, which is kind of neat, but not really what I shoot for, because it changes the way that I have to seam it, and I can't seam it like on my machine. Or I could, but it would be a little more of a pain in the butt than usual. So that, which is not something that I was thinking of when I did it until it was too late, and I had to just do the other one like that. But it's fine. Now I know, like, I'm trying this one out, I guess. The shaping should be the same, though. Yeah. So I'll have to compare this to the back and make sure that, like, the shaping of the armholes is the same, which I'm gonna tell you right now does not. I don't think it is. But we will see. I'm gonna get a snack. All right, hey, this is me. It's the 6th of March, 2021. Been a hot minute. I finished the knitting a long time ago. I think I've probably taken video of that. And it took me a long time just to get around to doing the sewing. I've been busy with school. It wasn't anything with this particular project. This sweater, I think, turned out really nice. I think it turned out really well. There are a couple of discrepancies as far as where the accuracy relative to the program, but the accuracy relative to my body is like pretty good. There are a couple of small things, and also one big thing, which is this neckline is massive. It's over by 2.5 inches, and I think it came out really wide instead of really deep, which makes it feel like there's not enough here to be supporting the rest of the sweater. That's one of the main issues. The other main issue is the wrist circumference. Is under spec by about 1/2 inch, but I honestly think I'm probably gonna jack this up to being an extra couple inches, because I can't get it over my hands when I'm taking the sweater off, which is a little. That's something you like to be able to do when you're wearing a sweater, isn't it? What are my other notes? Let's see. Overall, I think it's a really good sweater. I wore it around yesterday. I'm just wearing it now for show. It turned out really well. One other thing that I was the time study. I have to do the numbers for the time study. I did forget to do some measurements. I forgot to take some measurements on the time. So the sewing, it definitely took me less than an hour. I started using these clips instead of pins, and that worked wonders. It's very fast, very convenient. I liked it a lot, and I will continue using those instead of the pins. But I didn't take the time. I didn't measure the time, which was foolish. I just forgot. I'll run the numbers on that and come back to you real quick. But more importantly, I also estimated the amount of yarn it was going to take by weight. And it was estimating 1,062 grams of yarn. And it came out, this came out to weigh 948. It used 950 grams of yarn. And there are like some small bits that are left over. I'll use these for other stuff. They're quite good to have around. It's not waste. So, this is still quite close to my face. I punched the numbers in for the time study. Kind of annoying to... I need to find a better way of taking like stopwatch data, because it's not good to do it from my phone, because there's not like a way to add notes to it, so I don't know what I was measuring anyway. So I had to like cross-reference with the dates that I took videos. It was not something I recommend. Final numbers come out to, of the time that I recorded, it took about 4 hours and 35 minutes, not including like seconds, so it's probably within a couple minutes of that. I would say probably, given that I still had to do the sewing, I had to do the seaming, and I did, it's this side, I did do this by hand. Normally it would look like this, where there's two bits and you have to, I had to seam them together. That didn't take me very long either. I don't do these because I'm lazy. If someone buys a sweater, I probably will, but also, well, the sleeves are like too long sometimes because I'm testing, and I need to wash my hands a lot because it is 2021. I like to just, this helps me keep them out of the way. So that puts us around 5 hours. It's a good sweater. I like it. My next step is probably not going to be making another sweater for myself. The next things that I will do are either set up an Etsy store for headbands, or knit a sweater for someone else, the same way I did this, after making some adjustments, because I have it dialed in pretty well for myself, especially after I make a couple of the changes here. But I think I need someone else, right? Because I don't know what of the adjustments that I've made are adjusting it to make a sweater good for me versus making a sweater good for a person. I don't know how generalizable these changes I've made are. Which is, that's why you do it. That's why you test it with another person. And I'm going to. I'll get there. I should just stop talking. This is already too long. Thank you for sticking around. I've got my quarantine hair on, so I look a little bit crazy. I know this. Thank you. Tune in, stick around, and have a good one. That's way too close to my face.